magbigay ng number. Kasi po baka po gano'n naman po, may i-expect na naman po yung public. Pero what we're reassuring po, the public and this committee is lahat po ng pwedeng gawin ng department para suportahan po yung effort ng ICI ay ginagawa po namin.
Well, I would agree, Mr. Chair, na parang double-edged sword yung expectation. Kasi baka, lalo na kung magbibigay ng petsa, umasa, baka kapag lumampas, mabigo. Pero merong aspetong siguro positibo din yung expectation na mas magiging solid yung pag-asa ng publiko na magbubunga talaga itong aming investigasyon sa Blue Ribbon, magbubunga ang internal investigation ng department, magbubunga ang mga proseso sa ICI at saka sa Ombudsman. So, siguro naman, tulad ng sinabi nyo, magsasubmit kayo sa ICI in batches of cases. Meron ba kayong sense na ano yung magnitude ng pwedeng i-anticipate man lang ng publiko na makakasuhan? Tens of contractors and officials ba? Dose-dosena ba? Aabot ba sa 100? Ano yung sense po ng department as of now?
Your Honor, yung capability po ng internal audit service ng DPWH will be maximized po para po to look into this 416 projects. In fact po, meron pong effort na mag-hire nga po ng additional accountants and even engineers for yung quality assurance unit.
And auditors po?
Opo, auditors and accountants. Para po mas mapabilis po itong process natin.
And sa ngayon po, sa mga proyektong at least na kompleto nyo na yung internal audit, ilan na ang maaasahan ng publiko na either na posibleng makasuhan bunga nitong internal audit at investigasyon ng department?
I cannot give an exact figure, Your Honor.
The range is?
But we will submit a report on this matter para po mas accurate po yung maibigay namin na data.
Magsasubmit po kayo sa aming komite?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mga kailan po matatanggap ng aming chair yung report ng department?
Within the month, Your Honor.
Within this month, okay.
Yes.
Salamat po, Yusek. Tapos, follow-up sa ilang naunang interpelasyon na. Itong pinag-usapan at iniintindi naming coordinates, magkakaibang klaseng mga coordinates, anong epekto ng balitang hindi tama ang coordinates na ginamit sa pagtunto ng mga posibleng ghost at saka substandard projects? Ano yung naramdaman ng department na epekto ng ganon?
Una po, dahil po mali yung location coordinates na ibinigay at ginamit ng mga nag-validate. Siyempre po, ang effect po noon is na-mislead po sila into the wrong locations. And even po yung report na isinubmit nila is basically mali rin po kasi mali na kaagad yung location coordinates na pinagbasihan po nila ng inspection po nila. So, ang effect po nito is basically po, we will restart all over. Kung natapos na po natin yung 1/3 ng 30,000 flood control projects in the last 10 years, and then i-reassess naman po natin to. Just to be sure po na with our data.
So dahil po na-mislead, Mr. Chair, so it did a disservice, hindi lang sa paghanap ng komiteng ito at ng ibang investigating bodies ng katotohanan, pero on top of, in effect, nanakaw yung buwis ng publiko, lalong binaha nung bumagyo, dagdag pang naloko, at least para malaman ang postmortem, kung ano yung totoong kwento. Dahil mali yung mga naging report, parang lalo pang natamaan yung reputation ng department or ng executive as a whole, ng gobyerno as a whole. And at dahil kailangan nyo palang i-restart ulit yung 1/3 nyo nang natapos na out of the 3,000 projects na pag-audit, pag-imbestiga, significant po yun, no? 1/3 already. Uulitin nyo pati iyon, bukod sa 2/3 na hindi pa nasimulan. So, parang nasayang din, no? Yung effort, yung energy, yung resources ng department, Mr. Chair.
Tama po kayo, Your Honor.
Okay, so hindi po maliit na damage, no? All around. Nung iniimbestiga na lahat ito last year ng iba't ibang bodies, nasa DPWH naman na yung mga MIPS na start, intermediate, and pati po yung infra-track, di po ba, Yusek?
Lahat po yun ay nasa DPWH, Your Honor.
Opo. So, bakit di yun yung ginamit ng department sa unang validation pa lang? Para ngayon lang lahat ito nalalaman.
Sige.
Yes,
Madam
Mr. Chair,
Chair.
Yusek Bernabe.
Yes, ma'am. Because I think nung initially po, no, nagbuo nga po ng team itong ICI, composed of the AFP, PNP, and DepDev. And they relied on the coordinates dun po sa sumbong sa Pangulo. So they followed that sumbong sa Pangulo coordinates, which is the MIPS coordinates.
I see. So
Opo.
pati yung AFP at PNP na mislead sa simula, pati sila na mali sa report dahil dito.
Yun po yung kanilang pinuntahan po, yung MIPS
Yes.
coordinates po. Bale po, the DPWH is also coordinating with ICI to give technical support. Pero po ito pong 421 talaga ay sa ICI po ito na task and
And pati po yung AFP at PNP, dagdag sa marami na nilang trabaho, kailangan nilang sumama ulit sa DPWH, ulitin yung pag-audit, investigate sa mga 1/3 of the total number of projects.
possibly po.
Possibly. So pati po sila nabanatan. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator.
just one quick interjection. During the hearing of the Committee on Justice of the Senate, the ICI, the chairperson, as well as secretaries, Babes, mentioned that there were 400 plus ghost projects. So you're saying that the ICI was also misled based on the wrong information?
Mr. Chair, yun po. The coordinates they used was the MIPS. So that now we have to revalidate using also the coordinates of the infra track to ensure that indeed if it is ghost or it is in a different location, Mr. Chair.
Which, black eye ang nangyari, pati sa ICI bilang investigative body. Dahil mali ang mga coordinates na ginamit at sinasabing 400 ang ghost project, na muka hindi pala tama. At ngayon, muli ninyong binubusisi.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Salamat, Senator Kiko. So talagang, and of course, kung ganyang karami o lahat halos ng mga investigating bodies ay minimislead, malamang ibig sabihin may pinagtatakpan talaga, no? Sa buong proseso ito. I really, Mr. Chair, I really can't help feeling na may hindi nag-a-add up. Kaya katulad ni Senator Kiko, yung ni-raise nilang intervention in the earlier round, sang-ayon talaga ako na dapat bahagi ng usaping ito yung pagtingin, di lang sa ghost projects, pati sa mga substandard na projects na dun may corruption din na probably nangyari. So, follow up ko naman po sa Department of Justice. So, will it, Yusek Mark, okay. So, I'll continue to ask the questions of the department kay ating Prosecutor General Fadulyon. Ano naman pong epekto nitong issue din, yung sa coordinates, sa mga kasong isasampa dun sa mga suspected na corrupt?
Well, sa ngayon po, Mr. Chair, as far as the cases that we have already and we are conducting investigations, hindi naman po siya maapektuhan, no? Pero in a way, it would have made things a bit faster. Kasi ang mangyayari ho niyan, ito hong mga cases na inimbestigahan ng department is the product of the work of law enforcement pertaining to the NBI. So sila po yung talagang pumunta dun sa site at chinek at binalidate isa-isa kung talaga pong ghost projects ito o hindi. But I guess with the data and information coming from the DPWH, which would be more accurate, then it would facilitate and make the investigations and the gathering of evidence faster. Pero sa ngayon po naman, based on the cases that were referred to us by the NBI, gumagalaw siya kasi hindi naman po siya dependent doon sa data na nakala po doon, yung binabanggit po ngayon ng DPWH.
So, para hindi rin ma-mislead pati yung NBI, and yung kasasabi nyo lang po, PG Fadulion, assurance na may bahaging investigasyon led by the DOJ na hindi mamimislead nitong mga corrections na kailangan nating gawin sa mga datos na basehan ng mas technical siguro na investigasyon at auditing na pinamumunuan naman ng DPWH.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Madam Senator. Kasi po ang mangyayari ngayon yan is yung binabanggit nga po ng DPWH, the submissions that they have of whatever data they gather is brought to the ICI. And then any investigation that the ICI sees is needed or may be conducted is referred to the Office of the Ombudsman. The Department of Justice po, gumagalaw po siya ng sarili niya. In coordination, we still coordinate with the ICI and with the Office of the Ombudsman. Pero ito po mga kaso na ginagawa po natin at iniimbestigahan po natin, ay batay po sa pagsusuri na ginagawa ng NBI upon the directive of the DOJ po.
So in a way po, dalawang parallel
Yes.
na fact-finding or investigation or auditing.
Opo, at dagdag ko na lang po na syempre kung ano po yung naimbestigahan namin since kino-coordinate namin sa ICI at sa DPWH, nakakabawas na po yun dun sa datos na kailangan pa nating ituring na ghost projects kasi at least ito po ay may mga kaso na pong gumagalaw.
Okay, salamat po, PG Fadulion. Again, that's reassuring para marinig ng ating publiko na kahit minsan parang one step backward or may pag-uulit, may pag-retrace ng steps na kailangan mangyari, meron din namang 1 or 2 steps forward. And yung pong timetable ng NBI at saka ng DOJ ba, medyo kapacing nung sa DPWH, ICI, Ombudsman na within some makukumpleto na by the end of this month or some or most or all within the first quarter? Meron na rin po ba kayong parang first batch na mga cases na medyo mahihinog na at magbubunga na ng some kind of resolution para sa ating publiko?
Mr. Chair, for the information of the body, as mentioned by the Secretary po, we already referred 2 cases to the Office of the Ombudsman which have been filed with the Sandigan Bayan. These are 2 cases for malversation of public funds. And there are 3 cases. This also involves yung ghost projects, no, involving yung Sims Construction in Bulacan. These 3 cases are also due for resolution. The resolution will be out anytime within the week po. No? So there are a total of 5 cases. At the same time, there are 6 cases in different stages na kung saan patapos na po yung preliminary investigation, yung iba naman po ay ongoing. Pero we hope to be able to finish them well before the end of the month. And we have 3 new cases which were sent back to us. Ito po yung referred din naman ng Department for Plunder to the Office of the Ombudsman. This was returned to us last week. And within the week, the subpoenas for these cases para dun sa preliminary, pag-usad ng preliminary investigation ay may lalabas na po itong linggo na to.
Salamat, PG. So again, maaasahan ng publiko natin na may mga significant na hakbang pasulong by, sabi nyo, yung iba by the end of the week, yung iba naman by the end of the month. So mga konkretong hakbang forward na pwede pong subaybayan ng ating mga kababayan. Okay, salamat po. PG. Balik po ako sa DPWH. Patuloy pa rin po yung investigasyon ninyo. Tama po ba?
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Opo, kasi nga, sabi nyo, batches by batches hanggang matapos yung audit at investigasyon sa lahat ng mga suspected na ghost or substandard projects. So, ano pong ginagawa ng DPWH para ingatan yung budget ng inyong department at siguraduhin hindi na or in largest part hindi mananakaw ang pera ng taong bayan?
Madam Chair, insofar as the budget preparation is concerned, no, our planning undersecretary is already crafting a new way of formulating the DPWH NEP. No, so hindi na po siya yung dati po nga na merong mga formula na ginagamit on the allocables that has been scrapped. And meron na pong bagong formula na gagamitin to ensure po that the budget will be used more wisely. Of course, for implementation, yun nga po yung mga reforma na aming ginagawa. As of now, yung pong transparency portal ang aming nilaunch wherein we will, all the data of all projects, including pictures and the contracts, are available to the public. No, later on po, we are in the process of procuring satellite images para po meron pong satellite images for each contract, each project. And this will be available to the public. No, so that way po mabawasan ng mga human intervention, human interference, and to ensure that all the projects are monitored by not only by us but general public po.
Sabi niyo po, Yusek, wala ng allocables. So both yung term at yung practice, sinusubukan yung siguruhin na wala na yon sa sabi niyong new way of crafting the DPWH budget.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay, and then maglo-launch kayo ng transparency portal. So tulad namin dito sa Senate, tulad ng executive. Yung mga portals kaya nito, they will be able to speak to each other para mag-validate, cross-reference sa isa't isa sa mga data.
Yes po. Actually, ma'am, launch na po siya, Madam Chair.
Okay.
We can already access it. And we are continuing to populate the data in the transparency portal.
At you, sorry, go ahead, Yusek.
Yes po. And all the data po in the portal comes from the PCME. So lahat po sila nag-uusap po sila, no? Except now for the images, satellite images, wherein we have entered a MOA with the PhilSA para po sila ang mag-supply sa amin ng mga images after we have procured the same.
And yung satellite images na yon, may kasama na silang coordinates, whichever
Yes.
kind of coordinates. Pero talagang kung ano yung coordinates, kahit sinong mamamayan, pwedeng mahanap dun talaga sa eksaktong longitude at latitude na yan. Kasi kahit sabihin, actually, the project was 1-point-something kilometers away. Hindi yun lang. Malayo-layo ang 1-point-something kilometer. Hindi po yan meter or di po ba? Kilometer rin po yan. So, but yung satellite images, kasama na yung actual na coordinates.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Okay po. Huling tanong ko po sa ngayon sa DPWH, Mr. Chair. Last week po lumabas yung balita na nagkasunog sa DPWH office sa Baguio. Sabi ni Mayor Magalong, sensitive documents were lost in that fire. Dahil lumalabas po na dun mismo sa record section nagsimula yung sunog na iyan. So, dun sa ganyang statement ni Mayor, lumalabas po ba na arson ang nangyaring iyon? So, sadya pong hindi nasunog pero sinunog yung records na yon?
Madam Chair, as to the final report, as to the cause of the fire, it has yet to be determined by the BFP. However, we have here a list of all the affected documents, and it appears that wala naman pong sensitive documents, and all of which we have copies of.
Okay, so mali ba si Mayor Magalong? Dahil sinabi nilang sensitive documents ang nawala. Na-reassure nyo na ba sila na those are not sensitive at may kopya po kayo?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have a list here, and we have the copies that we can submit to the honorable body po.
Please do through our chair. At may investigation po bang underway din ang department para matukoy either kung sino ang nagsunog sa opisina or at least paanong nasunog yung opisinang yon?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have sent a team the past week nung nangyari po yung incident, and they are working closely with the BFP.
Possible causes of that fire?
Wala pa po, Madam Chair.
Wala pa rin. Di ba last year may nasunog na rin na isa pang DPWH office? Hindi ako nagkakamali doon sa Quezon City.
Yes
dito
po,
sa
yun
Metro
po yung
Manila. So,
Bureau of Research and Standards.
yes
Madam
po.
Chair.
So, bakit hindi po tayo mas nag-ingat pagkatapos? Kasi sa halip na mapigilang maulit ang isang Quezon City DPWH, naulit pa nga, DPWH Baguio naman. And these are two areas na lumalabas dito sa Blue Ribbon investigation namin, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Madam Chair, kaya po patuloy po ang aming investigasyon to find out po ang actual cause. We don't want to speculate as of the moment, but at least po we can assure everyone that all the documents are accounted for and there are no sensitive documents that are affected. In fact, puro po itong mga lumang dokumento po.
I can appreciate that po, Mr. Chair, pero of course hindi natin masisi yung publiko na mag-speculate nga. May mga precautionary measures ba na ginagawa ang department para wala nang sumunod pa na mga misteryosong pagsunog ng mga DPWH office, lalo na sa mga area na sumasailalim na sa magnifying glass ng Blue Ribbon at ng ibang investigating bodies?
Well, Madam Chair, as of the moment po, at the very least when we came in, yun nga po, lahat po ng documents, we require them to be scanned and to have copies of. No? Of course, ito pong sunog, supposedly meron naman po tayong mga standards to avoid fire. However, of course, di po namin maiwasan kung meron nga po mga ganitong insidente. So ang mga gawa lang po namin is to secure the documents, ensure that we have copies, and that all are accounted for in the event that meron pong ganitong mga mangyayaring insidente.
Okay, salamat po, Mr. Chair. Of course, never naman na walang magagawa ang department para maiwasan o mapigilan ito. So, I hope that the department will continue to be proactive, preserve the records kasi hindi lang siya of public value at ordinary times, pero lalo na ngayon na talagang bunga nung sumabog na issue ng flood control and other projects, scandals na di pa nga tayong lahat tapos na mag-imbestiga. Gusto nating ibalik yung tiwala ng publiko sa kami, concerned kami sa legislature and I'm presuming kayo sa executive. So sana you will continue to think of and implement more preventive measures to preserve these records. I just have 1.5 minutes left, Mr. Chair. So siguro at least one question sa DOJ, maybe kay PG Fadulion. So kasi kanina po, sir, pinag-uusapan natin yung mga parallel investigations na hopefully nagko-complement sa isa't isa at napipigilan na kung may delay man or may reversal on one track, at least tuloy-tuloy yung isa pa. So, kumbaga, nagtutulungan. So, ano pong koordinasyon meron ang DOJ sa DPWH din, sa ICI, sa Office of the Ombudsman para siguruhin coherent po yung mga investigasyon ninyo at yung buong investigasyon ng executive at yung talagang dapat na masingil ang accountability, sila po'y talagang masisingil.
Okay, Mr. Chair, insofar as yung coordination po, we have a task force which addresses particularly itong sa flood control, which I head together with other prosecutors in the department. And in this in the deliberations that we have, involved po lagi ang ICI. We always inform them about the meeting so that they are apprised also of any cases that we are investigating, of any cases that we are filing. Now, if there are certain things that we need also naman, let's say documentary evidence that we need from the DPWH, we go straight to the DPWH as they have representatives who constantly attend the meetings. Insofar as the Office of the Ombudsman, when there are cases that we are investigating and we refer to them, nag-uusap na naman po kami na itong kaso na to, i-covered na po ng department. So most likely, hindi na po yan itatouch yung project na yan. Iba naman po. Para lang hindi po maging doble yung galaw. And then, if for example, if there is, if it is discovered later on that there are certain overlaps, we sit down and talk about it just to make sure that there will be no confusion pagdating ho doon sa resolution na magkakaroon po ng conflict din naman. Kasi nauna na nga po yung, let's say, nauna na yung ombudsman or nauna na ang DOJ. And this extends all the way up to the prosecution. Kasi even in the prosecution of cases, the Department of Justice may be deputized by the Office of the Ombudsman to handle the cases. And as in fact, by way of example, the case as against Sara Diskaya, which is now pending before the court in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu, is being handled by prosecutors from the Ombudsman in the office, Ombudsman Mindanao and Ombudsman Visayas. But the Department of Justice prosecutors are also there to provide assistance or to collaborate with the lawyers of the Office of the Ombudsman, just to make sure that we're on the same page po.
So, yun pala, no? May maibibigay ba kayong status nung proseso laban kay Sara Diskaya dito sa aming komite?
Well, what we know, Mr. Chair, is that there were hearings that were already conducted, and that there were certain incidents that were raised also. Among them was to have to question the authority of the court that issued the warrant, saying that the court did not have jurisdiction to issue the warrant of arrest. But I think that was also addressed considering the fact that the transfer of the case, the case was initially filed in Davao, but because of the creation of the Supreme Court of Anti-Corruption Courts, no, designating Lapu-Lapu City and Dumaguete, doon kaya po nailipat doon. So I think that issue was also resolved. There was also a request which was made by the accused in that case to have the case remanded or transferred back to Davao, but which the court also denied in an order that it issued late last week. So sa ngayon po, hindi pa lang po namin, pinababantayan po namin ngayon dun sa prosecutors namin, makipag-coordinate po dun sa ombudsman prosecutors para sa mga susunod na hakbang na mangyayari, kung kailan po matutuloy yung arraignment and how the other incidents are being resolved po.
And correct me if I'm wrong, PG, Ms. Diskaya actually surrendered, ano po? Even before the warrant was issued. Tama po ba yan?
That is correct po, ma'am. I don't think surrender would be the correct term, but she submitted herself to the jurisdiction of to the NBI for her own protection. And then when yung warrants of arrest lumabas na po, doon na po isinerve sa kanya, at yun po ang naging dahilan kung bakit siya nadala sa Cebu City, sa Lapu-Lapu po.
I stand corrected. Salamat para dun sa correction. You mentioned, sir, for her own protection. Anong ibig niyong sabihin doon?
Well, yun po ang binigay na dahilan kasi tinatanong po namin yung NBI noon, what is she surrendering for when there were no cases yet? No? So, I think yun yung binigay na dahilan sa amin for parang protective custody. Okay, so hindi mo naman pwedeng tanggihan po kung humihingi ng protective custody yung tao. Kaya lang po, nung dumating na sa punto na ilalabas na nga po o lumabas na nga po yung warrant, wala rin naman pong gawa ang ating mga taga-NBI kung hindi ipatupad yung warrant at iserve sa kanya.
Salamat, sir. Well, for my last quarter minute or so, kahit masakit marinig ng lahat ng mga sektor na iniimbestiga ng aming komite or lumabas sa mga testimonies ng mga resource persons, pwede niyo po bang kaming bigyan ng rundown ng mga kinasuhan na at mga posibleng makasuhan halimbawa sa susunod na linggo?
You may respond and incidentally, yung time nyo expired
Yes,
na.
thank you, Mr.
You
Chair.
may
I can
answer.
reserve thank you, Mr. Chair.
If, Mr. Chair, if you will allow, I can just submit a list to the good senator just so that all the names of those who have been charged, who are under investigation, and who will be the subject of preliminary investigations will be brought to your attention po.
Please do so to our chair for the whole committee. Salamat po, PG.
Yes.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Risa. The next in line is Senator Dante Marcoleta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kanina po ay pinag-uusapan natin ang mga coordinates, Yusek Bisnar, and you started citing 416 cases. Ito yung parang potential flood control ghost projects, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, following the MIPS start and ends, you establish that talagang merong discrepancies sa coordinates. Tama. Actually, lahat. Yung 50, more than 50 and less than 50, sabi nga ng chairman, parehong mali yun. Because talagang may diferensya. Tama?
In comparing po yung actual na site and then
Yes.
yung MIPS start coordinate.
Kaya nga, the reason is, ang nangyari nga, ang pinadala sa opisina ng Pangulo ay yung MIPS application. If you will recall, nandyan naman si Yusek Bernabe. During the first hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, of which I was the chairman, I already pointed out na ang sumbong sa Pangulo was based on the MIPS submission, which is wrong. Nagtataka ako kasi, Mr. Chair, kung bakit hanggang ngayon ayaw pa nilang sabihin yung dahilan. Nung pinag-submit kayo ng Pangulo, whatever reference data you might have, pwede naman yung ibigay yung PCMA. The PCMA is more accurate than the MIPS. Yusek Bernardo, will I be correct in assuming that?
Mr. Chair, tama po, yung PCMA po yung actual. Tama
Yes,
po.
and then there is even more accurate than the MIPS and the PCMA. Ito yung tinatawag ninyong Survey 123. Tama? Eh, yun nga namin siguro, maski ang chairman, naguguluhan sa inyo, bakit nga yun ang una yung naisip? Of course, nagpaliwanag si former secretary, tama naman yun, at sa pagmamadali, dahil nga kailangan na ng Pangulo, ang naisip ay yun muna. MIPS. Pero ito multi-year kasi. Kahit paano mo isipin, yung multi-year, gumagalaw naman yun eh. Kung pagbabasihan po natin ang inyong mga records, tingnan po ninyo, sinasabi pa nga dyan sa PCMA, this is geotag ito eh. Hindi ba? Real time. So doon pa lamang sa real time, geotag, dapat yun ang binigay ninyo. So na-lessen sana yung 421. Anyway, sabi ni former secretary, it's mind-boggling na 421 naman. Siguro nga sa karanasan naman niya, baka naman siguro 20 hanggang 50 siguro, baka maniwala sa mga. Pero 421, sabi niya medyo katakataka. Pero, Mr. Secretary, I will refresh your memory. Nung ako pa yung chairman, I was expecting na ang pinag-uusapan natin, wala pa tayong numbers noon eh. But nung mag-deliver ng first privilege speech ang ating chairman, kinuwenta namin lahat, sabi ko, pagka ganito, hindi ko kulangin sa 50 ang potential numbers ng ghost projects. And at that time, you even agreed with me na maaaring ang ganon. Pagkatapos, yung second meeting, naalala ko, Mr. Chair, dalawa lang yung sinabit mo, Yusek, Secretary, na ghost projects ng flood control. Ito nga yung dalawang projects ng SIMS at saka yung Wawaw na nandun sa may Capiz, Taliptip River sa Perez, Bulacan. At yung isa naman ay yung reinforced concrete river wall sa Baliwag, Bulacan. So I was a little bit annoyed. Alam mo naman yun, tinext kita. Sabi ko, this is not our agreement. I was hoping that you will submit to us at least or not less than 50 ghost projects. And then you will remember that because of that text, you texted me back. Tiningnan ko uli yun. The date is August 30, 2025. And you bear me a list of temporary, ang subject ng text mo, Secretary, Summary of Flood Control Inspection by Implementing Offices. This is August 30, 2025. The total projects na covered by that summary, 2,113. At dito sa report mo, Secretary, merong without structure, meaning ghost, 15. So if out of 2,113 investigated projects, meron kayong nakitang 15 without structure, meaning ghost, 30,000 mahigit lahat ang projects ng flood control, then we can compute by ratio and proportion, 2,113 over 15 multiplied by 30,000 by X. Ano man ito? So lilitaw dito, Secretary, the potential ghost projects out of the universe of 30,000 projects, pwedeng maging 230 ng ghosts. Hindi 421. Yung 200, dito sa kwenta natin, it's possible. Is my logic valid? Yusek Bisnar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Akala ko kukontra ka eh. Yun nga eh. Bakit hanggang ngayon sinusundan nyo yung MIPS? Hindi kayo kagad kumurba kagad eh. Nakita nyo, merong PCMA, merong Survey 123, but pinilit pa ninyong gaygayin lahat using the MIPS. Alam na ninyo, from the beginning, I told you it was wrong already. Bakit ngayon, pinipilit nyo pa, ngayon pa lang kayo kukurba? Sabi nga ni Senator Montevero, di ulitin nyo naman lahat ito. Ang public na naman, magtatagal na naman tayo. Bakit hindi nyo kagad ikinurba yung pagsusuri ninyo?
Your Honor, nung nagpakuha po tayo ng coordinates for the inspection ng AFP-PNP, dated September 9, 2025, pinakuha na po natin yung coordinates from both MIPS and PCMA. And ito yung ibinigay natin sa AFP-PNP. Ang ano lang po doon is hindi lahat po ng projects ay merong both MIPS and PCMA infratrack coordinates. Pero as much as possible po, kung ano po yung available ay ibinigay po natin.
Di po ganun, Yusek. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga kay Yusek Bernabe kanina, yung MIPS kasi, very preliminary yon. Pag NEP lang, para lang magkaroon kayo ng NEP, tsaka address pa lang yun eh. Lilitaw, gagalaw na yan pag PCMA na yan. Hanggang sa mapino na ninyo, lilitaw na sa Survey 100, lilitaw na medyo okay na yung coordinates nyo. Kaya lang, MIPS palagi ang ginagamit mo, kaya tingnan mo, yung coordinates mo ang baba lang, 2 kilometers. I will give you at least 14 samples of wrong coordinates. All over. Ako, nakakuha ko. Hindi 2 kilometers ang variance. Eh. Alam mo yung variance na nakuha namin is from 67 kilometers to 400 kilometers. Kasi ang ginagamit mo is MIPS. That is why at the very beginning, I was telling the DPWH, it is wrong to start from the MIPS. Mamamislead lahat ng mga tao. So, yun ang naging problema natin. I am happy that the chairman already encouraged the DOJ na kunin nyo na yung nakadetain sa Senate. Marami pa raw kaming nakadetain dito para lumugluwag yung aming detention area. Yung ba yung tawag natin, boss?
Senate Airbnb ata ang tawag natin dun eh.
O para lumuwag-luwag naman yun, sabi ng DOJ, opo, kukunin namin. Talaga, kukunin nyo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Sabi pa nga ng chairman natin, narinig ko kanina, Mr. Diskaya, kayo lahat na makipag-usap na kayo, baka sakaling mag-qualify kayo sa Witness Protection Program. Tama naman yun. Ang problema, Prosecutor Padulyon, ini-insist mo kasi yung restitution kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. Will you still insist on that?
Sir, we never mentioned that restitution is a condition. Paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi yon, Mr. Chair, na hindi po siya kondisyon para ang isang tao ay matanggap o makonsidera bilang isang witness under the Witness Protection
Tapos na
Program.
tayo dyan. Ang
Kaya
naging
nga po,
problema-
sinasagot ko po kayo na hindi ko po namin sinasabi. Wala po kami sinasabi na restitution is a condition. So I'm not insisting on it, sir.
Hindi mo sinasabi ngayon, but when you were talking about a memorandum, yun ang sinasabi mo, there, pwede naming ilagay yung restitution because it is a matter of good public policy. Ano namang klaseng... Kaya nga nahihirapan sila eh. Yung Diskaya, to my mind, were the first to apply under the Witness Protection Program. Ang problema, ang sabi ng then Secretary of Justice, now Ombudsman, ay hindi naman basta-basta ganun. kinakailangan isauli ninyo yung ininakaw ninyo. Ang problema po doon, kung wala namang wala namang korte pa pong nagsasabi kung talagang sila ay nagnakaw o nakapagnakaw, sino pong magkukwenta nun? Tapos ano yung in-explain ninyo, under a certain paragraph of the law, merong memorandum na kung saan magkukomply sila doon, doon yung pinipilit yung restitution. And I think some of the potential witnesses that can be processed under that program, nagsipagbigay na ng kung ano-ano eh. Is that the truth?
Only those who have been admitted into the program actually returned or made the restitution, sir.
Why did they do that? They did that because it was their own initiative, or you required them to do that?
It was an agreement between the Department of Justice through the Secretary of Justice, sir, and the witness applicant po.
That is the problem. The agreement is based not on the provision of the WPP. Sabi ko nga, kung sinasabi ng WPP, it cannot be a condition. Kahit nasa memorandum, huwag mo ipipilit. Hindi po pwede yun eh. Kaya sinabi ko sa iyo earlier, and I think I should tell it again to you, sabi nating mga abogado, the spring cannot rise higher than its source. The law itself is the source. Ang spring, yung memorandum mo. Pinipilit mong ilagay sa memorandum yung restitution eh. O kaya merong ako nababalitaan, parang meron ng gustong umatras. Magkano ibibigay? At kanino ibibigay? Sino mag-a-account nun? Sino nagsabi nun na kung mangungulekta kayo sa DOJ? Di ba abuse of discretion yun, Mr. Padulyon?
No, it is not, sir.
What is it?
It is not abuse of discretion.
What
The
is
parties, if I may be allowed to answer,
Yes,
sir.
what is it?
Yes, sir. If the parties both agree to the terms and conditions contained in the memorandum of
But you
agreement,
cannot
there is no
impose an
abuse.
agreement. If you cannot impose an agreement which is not required by the law, especially if you will put restitution there, how can you do that?
Mr. Chairman, sir, yung restitution po, yung memorandum of agreement is a product of an agreement between both the Secretary of Justice, representing the DOJ and the WPP, and the witness applicant. Wala pong abuse doon kung pareho po sila nagkasundo. Paulit-ulit na po namin sinasabi na ito tayo, naghahanap tayo at naghahabol tayo doon sa mga taong nangurakot, tapos itong mga tao na umamin at handang magsoli, ayaw nating tanggapin yung kanilang sinusoli. Ano ho ang nakikitang mali doon? Para po sa amin, para ho maibsan kahit papano yung sakit at pagdurusa ng ating mga kababayan na nakikita nila na napakalaking pera ang nawala. Ano ho ba yung maibalik natin yung kaunti? And remember, Mr. Chair, if I may...
Do not preach to the choir.
No, I'm not preaching,
Sandali
Mr.
sandali lang. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, these people are supposed to be potential witnesses for the state. Kailangan tulungan natin ang Estado para ma-prosecute kung sino-sino ang dapat managot. Kaya nga natin sila ilalagda. Mahirap ang gagawin nila. Malalagay sa alangin ang buhay nila. Kaya nga yung witness protection is for them. Sa title na title lang makikita mo, witness protection in interest para sa kanila yon. So yung memorandum of agreement, ayun ay dahilan lamang para masiguro mo na sila'y makikipag-cooperate. Kasi kahit na sila'y na-approve under the witness protection program, but they will not cooperate based on the memorandum, pwede mo siyang i-discharge eh. Alam mo, the court can still do that. At saka yung final approval ng witness, state witness, nasa court yun eh. Huwag mong kukunin yun eh. Kaso, isinasama ninyo yung restitution. That is the problem. And I will object to that. Palaging mali yun eh. E paano yung kay Diskaya? Pinipilit ninyo na mag-restitute. Sabi niya, ewan ko kung pinag-usapan ninyo. What did they tell you, Mr. Diskaya?
Your Honor, kung magkano po ang i-restitute po muna namin.
Oh, ano sabi nila? Magkano daw?
Ako po, hindi ko po masabi kung magkano po. Kasi para sa akin po, parang kami po ang nanakawan. Parang ibig sabihin, parang modern day na pagnanakaw. Ibig sabihin, yung nakaw ba? Siya pa ang magbibigay ng pera dun sa ninakawan niya? Parang ganun po.
Sabi niya kanina, it's a disagreement between the applicant and the DOJ. Did you agree that you restitute any money to the DOJ?
Wala po pang maibibigay po. At saka...
yun na nga. Because wala kang maibigay, hindi kanya ipoprocess under the Witness Protection Program. Is that not correct?
Hindi ko po alam, Your Honor, kung
Oy, Mr. Chair, paano to? Ito si Mr. Diskaya, he was the first, tsaka yung asawa niya who applied under the WPP. The problem is, ang sabi ng dating DOJ Secretary, hindi, kinakailangan isoli muna yung mga pinagnanakaw. Hindi po pwedeng ganun-ganun lang. Paano ngayon siya mapuprocess if that was dangled? Paano siya mapuprocess to begin with?
May I be allowed to respond now, Mr. Chair?
PG, Padilla.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Mr. Chair, una, sabihin ko lamang po no, na kasinungalingan po yung sinasabi ni Mr. Diskaya na agad-agad silang sinabihan na magsoli ka. Ang pinag-uusapan po dito, bago man lang makapagsabi ng ganon, kailangan munang makita kung ano ang gusto at kayang sabihin at patunayan ni Mr. Diskaya at ni Mrs. Diskaya doon sa kanilang salaysay.
Prosec
Pero
General.
hindi po sila nakikipag-ugnayan sa department, kaya hindi po sila mabigyan ng kaukulang proteksyon at hindi po ma-process yung kanilang application. So yung sinasabi po ni Mr. Diskaya, from the hearing of November 14 in the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, there was never a chance or an opportunity that Mr. Diskaya and or counsel even approach the department despite the proddings of the chairman.
Mr. Ano ba yung title mo? Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. PG na lang. Mr. PG, nung ako yung chairman pa dito, sila yung unang nag-apply. So, dahil kailangan nila ng protection, it was incumbent upon the chairman na sumulat sa Senate President to endorse yung kanilang application. That was the provision of law kasi. But even before they can do that, actually kasi nung sinasabi ko yon nung hearing, di ko naman alam mapapalitan na pala kami. Alam mo na yon, di ba? Yung araw din na yon, nag-press con na si Secretary of Justice. Narinig ko eh. Sabi niya, hindi po pwedeng ganon. I cannot apply. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta ganon na lang. And then the new Senate President based his judgment of not entertaining that application on the articulation of the Department of Justice. So, ang tinatanong ko nga sa inyo, hindi siya sinungaling. Ang mismong kayo ang nagbigay na ng condition kasi. Kaya sinasabi ko, if you insisted on the condition of restitution, how can Diskaya or any other persons similar to his situation even begin to apply under the WPP?
If I may respond, Mr. Chair. If I may refresh the memory of the good senator, during the last hearing of November 14, 2025, that matter that you raised about the statement made by the former Secretary of Justice was already put on the side when you asked that question. And we already informed the chairman that if they wish to file their application, if they wish to be processed, they go to the Department of Justice. Binanggit po yan, nasa transcripts po yan na sinasabi niya, sige, wala mo nang pag-uusapang restitution. But did they ever come to the department to coordinate with us? No, they did not. And let me just put it on record, sir, na hindi po ito question na kung sinong nauna na nagsalita. Hindi po ito question kung sino yung naunang nagbanggit ng napakaraming pangalan kung hindi rin naman nila kayang suportahan ng ebidensya at wala rin naman silang mabibigay na magpuprove o magpapatunay doon sa kanilang mga sinasabi. Yan po ang kailangan naming suriin.
I am sorry, Mr. Chair, he did not refresh my memory. Pinopulyut mo yung memory ko eh. Hindi siya nagpunta rito na sabihin niya na, okay, pumunta ka sa DOJ, huwag na muna nating pag-usapan ng restitution. Walang ganon. Nagpunta nga siya rito dito si DOJ Secretary din eh. O sabi ko, Boying, okay na ba yun? Papupunta. Di wala nang ano ha? Wala nang restitution na. Basta papuntahin mo silang mag-asawa doon. Hindi ba nagpunta ka, Mr. Diskaya? Yung kinabukasan nung magkita kayo rito?
Mr. Diskaya, you may respond, but unfortunately, your time is up.
Your Honor, nung ano po, Your Honor, hindi po kami... yes po, Your Honor.
Yeah,
Sige.
proceed. Kasi tapos na yung time ni
Go.
Senator Marcoleta.
Yes po, Your Honor. Opo.
Hindi nga, ipaliwanag mo.
Bali po, Your Honor, bali Kasi po, di pa po nagsalita po yung misis ko na
Hindi nga ganito, wala na akong time eh. Pinapunta ka niya ron, kasi nandito kayo, nag-uusap kayo eh. O, kayong dalawang mag-asawa, punta kayo ron ng alas 9. Pumunta kayo, sinabi mo niya wala nang restitution?
Noong una po, wala pong sinabing may restitution, pero nung sumunod po, yung panghuli po naming usapan po is may restitution, magkano daw po ang i-restitute namin. Tapos kakasuhan din po daw kami at hindi didiinan. Pero gusto ko po, Your Honor, na hindi na po muna magsalita ng dire-diretso kasi po yung huli po yung misis ko na nagsalita siya na hindi daw po kami kasama sa WPP. Yung natatandaan ko po yung huling hearing po dito ay nakulong po yung misis ko sa Davao. Samantalang meron naman pong nag-exist na project. Kaya natatakot po ako, Your Honor, na baka pag nagsalita na rin po ako, baka po sa susunod po ako naman po ang makulong. Kaya hindi na po ako magsasalita.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, point of order before the next.
Yes,
colleague.
Senator Risa.
Salamat,
You're
Mr.
recognized.
Chair. Pwede po bang malaman kung tulad ng iniutos ng chair nung nakaraang hearing, nag-submit na po sina Mr. and Ms. Diskaya nung buong listahan nila, ledger ng mga proyekto nila kasama ang mga joint venture projects para sa mga taong 2016 hanggang 2022?
Your Honor, nung nakalabas po ako, Your Honor, nung nakaraan po, ay hindi po kami pinapasok halos ng mga taga City Hall. Kasi po yung mga taga City Hall po, pinasarado po nila yung office namin. Kasi po, nirevoke po nila yung business permit po namin dahil sa kakulangan po ng occupancy permit. So, nakiusap po kami sa City Hall na sana po papasukin po yung mga taga Senate Sergeant at Arms at ayaw po nila papasukin. At ngayon po, wala na po kaming empleyado. Lahat po sila ay iniwan na po kami o yung iba po ay separated na po kasi sarado na po yung kumpanya namin. Ganun din po yung mga nangungumpahan sa office po namin na building na pinauupahan ay wala na rin po sila doon. Kanya-kanya na po sila ng sara.
Mr. Chair, diretso lang po yung tanong ko pero hindi diretso yung sagot. Parang kanina, lahat po tayo physically naghitla dun sa sinabi ni Mr. Diskaya na parang sila pa yung nanakawan. I would like to request the good chair to please reiterate yung utos ng komite kina Mr. Diskaya. I-submit yung ledger na sinabi ni Ms. Diskaya noon, meron sila ng mga proyekto pati joint venture projects mula 2016 hanggang 2022. Huwag po nilang sisisihin ang City Hall. Hindi po yan kasalanan ng City Hall dahil subject yan ng utos ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Mr. Chair. Sabi rin po ng ating secretariat sa komite, nag-follow up po sila kina Mr. Diskaya last week. Pero hanggang ngayon po, 3:44 na po ng hapon. Almost 3 hours mula nung nagsimula tayo, hindi pa rin sila sumusunod sa utos ng Blue Ribbon, Mr. Chair.
Your Honor, makikiusap po sana ako na baka para mas kumpleto po yung project list po na makuha ninyo, baka po pwedeng isubpoena na lang po ang DPWS kasi may copy naman po sila kasi wala na po kami talagang mga empleyado na mag-aasikaso. Ako po nakakulong sa Senate po, yung misis ko naman nakakulong sa Davao.
Mr.
So wala po kami mautusan, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, I will submit to the wisdom of the chair kung ano po yung pinakamabisang paraan. Ang hinahanap ko lang pong outcome ay mabigay ng mga ni na Mr. at Ms. Diskaya yung ledger nila na sinabi ni Ms. Diskaya mayroon sila nung mga joint venture and other projects nila mula 2016 hanggang 2022. Ewan ko ba, Mr. Chair, binabato pa nila sa DPWH yung responsibilidad sumunod sa utos ng Blue Ribbon, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Risa. We'll try to resolve that issue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator JB Ejercito is recognized.
Just a quick manifestation, Mr. President, with the permission of Senator.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, ako hindi nagtataka bakit hindi tinatanggap sa Witness Protection Program itong mga Diskaya. Dito lang sa Senado, hindi na kayo nagko-cooperate. Ito'y patunay na mukhang hindi kayo qualified maging witness. Kung sa Senado, hindi kayo nagko-cooperate. Bakit kayo bibigyan ng puwang ng mga taga-WPP? For the record, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator JB.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Anyway, Mr. Chair, naalala ko po yung kasi na-focus masyado matagal yung pong notorious sa district office ng Bulacan, pero equally notorious is the Mindoro, no? Kaya I would like to thank the chair na sa request ko noon pa na sana si naging Regional Director Gerald Pakanan ay patawag at nandito na siya ngayon, no? At I would like to take advantage of his presence dahil matindi rin yung nangyari sa Mindoro. Although yung lugar na yun, mga lugar na pinaglagyan ng mga flood control projects, nauhan, mga swampy, mga river town na kahit na gaano karami semento ang ubusin dyan, hindi yata mawawala talaga ang baha dyan. No? So yan ang base sa ating unang impormasyon. Siguro tanong lang natin muna si Yusek Bernardo. Total, nandito na si Yusek Bernardo.